Hey guys, this week on Talkin Tackle, we're out here on Hammond Lake again, doing some fishing with the Big Bite Baits Real Deal Craw. You know, I've been having a lot of fun with this bait the last couple weeks. It's a bait you can flip, pitch, fish it along some structure, and it really matches my fishing style really nicely. And it's simple to fish, and bass really seem to like it. So let's take a look at this bait today. This is a 4-inch bait. It comes in a bunch of different colors. Lately I've been fishing the hematoma color. It's like a black and blue. This guy here really matches the water conditions really nicely. You know, Hammond's been mostly off color for the last couple weeks, and actually after this last couple rains, it's even dirtier right now. So blue and black really seem to show up in this stained and dirty water. It's a color I really rely on. Now when I come down here, like right now we're down towards the dam, the water's cleared up pretty considerably. I'm going to go with a color like this, a green pumpkin, or I got a green pumpkin with red as well. But for the most part, lately I've been using the black and blue. It'll also work in this clear water as well. Now right out of the package, you'll notice these baits come with their claws kind of connected together. What I do is, split these off. What this bait's going to do then, when it's falling through the water, those legs are just going to paddle back and forth like this. Creates a lot of commotion, especially in this dirty water. That's something you need. It's going to move a little bit of water. It's something for those bass to key in on without being able to see it real well. Dirty water, these fish are going to rely on their lateral line and vibrations a lot more so than clear water, where they can really sight feed and to see the baits much better. Dirty water, you want something that's going to push a little water, something that's going to catch your attention, and then we're using these dark baits so they will show up against that dirty water as well. As far as rigging, I'm going to rig these in a Texas rig for most of what I'm doing. You can probably fish this on a Carolina rig as well, but for me, Texas rigging works really, really nicely. And I can pitch it around cover, pitch it around weeds, and it comes through that real nice. Now, as far as line choices, right now I'm fishing this on a 20-pound Seaguar Invisex fluorocarbon. It's a fluorocarbon I've really come to love the last few years. It's strong, it's supple, not a lot of memory, and sensitivity is just awesome. Now, some people might argue you should fish this on a braid, especially around timber and whatnot. And if I'm in real dirty water or real heavy timber and real heavy weeds, I will fish this on my frogging rod, a little heavier action rod with a 50 or 65-pound braid. But for the most part, I'm fishing fluorocarbon. It's just something I trust, and I can fish it in dirty water or down here in the clear water without having to switch back and forth constantly. Now, I'm rigging this bait on a 3/0 hook. Big thing you want to make sure is this bait's lying nice and flat on here. Try to get this hook point to line up so it's sitting right in that little crease on the carapace on this crawfish, giving a real natural presentation. Notice the butt end of this is real flat, and want the hook to just barely stick out of there and not sticking up top. And then the worm weight will sit right on top of that. Now when this is coming through the water, what's going to happen is this weight's going to fall, this bait's coming back behind it, and these legs are just flopping, and the fish just can't resist it. So when we're fishing this bait, one of the big things to remember, especially when we're fishing timber and whatnot, is make a lot of casts. I mean, if you're confident there's fish in your area, if you're on a stump or on a tree and you're confident there's fish down there, keep hitting it from different angles. Sometimes it's not one cast that we're catching these fish on. Sometimes it's 5, 10, 15 casts, if not more. Sometimes depending on where those fish are sitting, how they're positioned on that log, each cast is going to present the bait a little bit differently. Present it at a couple different angles, and hopefully sooner or later one of them is going to be the right one that does the trick. Now, a big thing you want to watch is see how this worm weight sits nice and flat on the top of this. That's going to give it a real natural profile. Now when we're dragging it along the bottom or hopping it, what will happen sometimes is after a few fish or a few casts, your knots will come off to the side and the weight won't sit on it properly. So always check your knots, make sure your bait's sitting nice and flat like that. This is how it should look in the water. This is a big thing you want to make sure every cast. And I am constantly adjusting these baits. Again, it's a confidence thing. If you can trust what your baits are doing down there, you're going to catch more fish. So one last thing I want to mention about the Big Bite Baits Real Deal Craw is these baits are infused with Big Bite Baits bite juice. I've really started using a lot more scented baits these last few years. I'm not sure it gets you more bites, but I am sure that it helps them hold on to it a little bit longer, take it a little bit deeper, and sometimes that extra fraction of a second that they're holding on to it is going to be enough for you to set the hook, and it's going to be the difference between you missing a fish and catching them. So I'm really sold on these scented baits. Give them a try this year. I'm telling you, the Real Deal Craw is the real deal. You're going to have a lot of fun with this bait. Stop in and see us and we'll get you hooked up at Tackle Shack. Until next week, I'm Don Kelly. Thanks for watching Talkin Tackle.